Welcome in, everyone. So as always, we were browsing the AIagentstore.ai website page earlier, and we landed on something you are really going to want to hear about. It's called OpenLobster.
Yeah, OpenLobster. It's pretty wild to look at.
Right, so today we're unpacking this. It's basically a free, open source, self-hosted personal AI assistant. But, it's really built specifically for technical power users, software developers, sysadmins, people like that.
Exactly. And to really get why it exists, you have to look at the massive pain point it solves, which is secure multi-user operations. Because OpenLobster actually evolved as a highly opinionated fork of an older framework.
Oh, got it. So it was sort of born out of frustration with existing tools.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, if you're running an AI that multiple developers are interacting with, you absolutely need hard boundaries. So this framework handles that by implementing, encrypted secret storage, default dashboard authentication, and really strict per-user histories.
Which makes total sense. Like, it's the difference between using a shared family computer where everyone just dumps their files on the same desktop versus, well, moving to a secure multi-tenant server. Every user gets their own locked private workspace.
That is a perfect analogy. And that isolation, it creates what's essentially an architecture of trust. Because the system strictly segments permissions natively, you don't have to constantly babysit it.
Right. Nobody wants to babysit their AI.
Exactly. You can confidently let it off the leash to manage its own schedule. It uses these LLM-powered reasoning loops to plan and execute multi-step tasks totally autonomously.
And it relies on a real scheduler for recurring automations, right?
Mhm.
Operating across different chat channels. But wait, if it's acting on these defined triggers across channels, doesn't that mean it's just, operating silently in the dark? Like, how do I know what it's actually doing?
Yeah, I mean, autonomy without transparency is just a sysadmin's worst nightmare.
Oh, for sure. You just have phantom operations everywhere.
Right. So the developers actually accounted for that by engineering highly visible task logs. Even when OpenLobster executes a background trigger across a chat channel without any human intervention, the logging system tracks exactly what it did.
Okay, so you see the action and the reasoning behind it.
Exactly. You always have full visibility into the execution loop. Nothing is hidden from the user.
But keeping track of all those background executions over a long period of time, I mean, that requires some serious context management. Most local assistants just use like basic flat no files, which is terrible for complex projects.
Yeah, flat files are basically useless at scale. OpenLobster, on the other hand, plugs into major providers like OpenAI, Anthropic, and Llama via a GraphQL API. And it actually uses Neo4j for its long-term structured memory.
Wait, Neo4j, so it's using a graph database instead of just dumping facts into a table.
Yep, exactly. It maps out a literal web of connections. So if you feed it a server configuration, it draws a mathematical relationship between that server, the deployment project, and the specific developer who scheduled the update.
Wow. So it's really acting more like an air traffic controller. Like, it doesn't just know a plane is there,
Yeah.
it knows where it came from, its altitude, and the exact runway it needs.
Right. It understands the actual operational relationships, not just isolated sticky notes of past chats. That relational mapping is the core engine here.
It really changes things. I mean, think about it. If an AI can securely manage multi-user permissions, execute scheduled automations entirely on its own across channels, and maintain long-term structured memory, at what point does it transition from being just a piece of software to an autonomous digital colleague?
I know, right? The line between a tool and a team member is getting blurrier every single day.
It really is. Well, you can review the page yourself over at AIagentstore.ai. Thank you for rating the podcast. Catch you next time.